Thank you. Difficult is fun. Difficult is fun is one of my driving forces, my motto. If it's not difficult, it's not for me. You know, if it's easy, then someone else can do it. But when it's difficult, you need to challenge yourself. You need to step out of your comfort zone. And sometimes that challenge is closer than you think. It could be a life hack that you borrow from somebody else and you make it your own. And sometimes using that life hack can be difficult. Difficult, but fun. My name is Lisa Ekström, and I'm the founder of the company Kamoja. Kamoja is a word that I made up by myself. It originates from the Thai word Kamoj, which means steal, thief. Steal, thief, snitch, or like borrow, like borrowing somebody else's idea, somebody else's story of success, putting yourself as a lead character and making it your own story of success. Steal with pride. Kamoja. During a period of my professional career, I was sales manager at Scandinavian Airlines. I would say I had the kind of job where I was inside my comfort zone the whole time. I could answer almost all the questions that I got. And if I got a question I didn't know the answer to, I would know exactly where within the organization I could find the answer. And then this girl walks into my office, a colleague of mine, and she says, Lisa, what? They're looking for a new customer relations director. I think you should apply for the job. The customer relations department was really the claims department, handling dissatisfied customers. Customer relation department. And there were two things well known within the organization about this department. One was that it was where people were placed when they lost their job. Like a dead-end job, like people were kind of dumped there. The other thing was that they had what we called a backlog situation, meaning that it took longer time for you as customers to receive answers on your claims than the standard promised. And the standard then promised 21 days. So you fly with the airline, you contact the claims department, you will probably get hold of somebody who was kind of dumped there. Out of the 28 who worked there, only 4 voluntarily applied for the job, and it will take more than 21 days before somebody gets back to you. And I remembered my motto, my driving force, difficult is fun, and I applied for the job. And after some interviews and some negotiation, the job was mine. And I walked in there and I started by listening. I listened to my staff members. And I have to tell you, at first I was so disappointed. I had my expectations up so high. Difficult, but they were all decent people. They put in their everything. But still, the results didn't reflect on the effort they put in. And very quick, I understood that we had to work in a different way. They couldn't work faster. They were working as fast as they could. They were cutting coffee breaks and they were skipping lunch. No, we couldn't work faster. We needed to change the way we worked, and we did. We also started doing other things differently, like not only focusing on the many dissatisfied customers we had, also focusing on the many satisfied customers we had. Some of them so satisfied, they would even go out of their way to write us emails to tell us about it. And we would always go out of our way and answer them. There's so many companies that miss out on that. You have a happy customer, a satisfied customer telling you about the good experience, and then you get no answer. If that's you, how does that make you feel? You tell the company that you're really happy, and then you hear nothing. We would always answer our happy customers with a thank you. And at one point, we even sent cakes to some of them. Yeah, not all of them, but some of them, with a cake, with a personal note saying that invite somebody for coffee and have cake. And maybe when you're having coffee and cake, you can talk about Scandinavian Airlines. Maybe you can find a way with suggestions that how we could improve. And then please let us know. You know, it was our way to ask the customer into our Scandinavian Airlines family. And we did a lot of things like that. Have you ever played computer games? Yeah, you know, when you play computer games, there's like a life indicator in one corner, and then you're supposed to do things in a computer game that give life energy, and then you do something not that good, and that will take life energy. And if you do something really good, you can have an extra life. Well, I have a life indicator like that in my field of vision. Because you know, there are things in my life that will take life energy, like focusing on dissatisfied customers all day. And then I need to fill up on energy, right? I need to find things that give life energy. Otherwise, I'll get game over. And for real, who needs game over? Nobody wants game over, right? So we did a lot of things to fill up on life energy. It was good for the customers, but it was also good for the staff members. And I can promise you, focusing on satisfied customers, bam, we got so many extra lives. And we did things differently. I mean, the cake thing was just one example. We did so many things like the cake thing. And when you do things that aren't really usual to do, you stick out your neck, right? You're a pioneer. And when you are a pioneer, that's difficult. Because when you are a pioneer, there will be people that think that you are crazy. And there will be people who think that you should be spending your time doing other stuff. So you need to create a company culture where you are brave enough to try. Brave enough to try new things, and also safe enough to fail. And we did. So you know, some of it we came up with ourselves, and some of it we would Kamoj from some other business that we read or heard about. And then I read this survey, I think it was from Denmark, saying that if you are an unhappy customer, you will tell, on average, 15 other people about your bad experience. But if you are a happy customer, a satisfied one, you will tell less than 5. You know, reading this, I thought, is that really true? Is that really how we are as people? Do we rather tell stories about bad experience than good ones? And at first I thought, no, we don't. And then I started listening. I listened to my friends and I listened to my colleagues. And after a while, I had to realize it was true. I heard more stories about bad incidents than about good ones. But still, you know, I thought we were kind of home free because we were also focusing on the many happy customers we had. So that was kind of a thing for others, not for us. And then I read this article. It was an article about a New York restaurant. You know, you go to a restaurant and you get your table, you get the menus, you order your food, you get your food, and you start eating. And in the best of world, the waiter will walk up to the table once you started eating and ask, is everything good? Sometimes, very often actually, they don't do that until you've finished your meal, and I mean, that's a bit too late, right? Then there's not much you can do about it. Maybe you can get like a free coffee or dessert on the house, and then you will leave the restaurant as a semi-satisfied or maybe even semi-dissatisfied customer. But this New York restaurant, this article was about something else. It was this couple who walked in, they got their table, they got the menus, they ordered their food, they got their food, they started eating, and once they finished eating, the waiter walks up to the table and he says, was everything good? You know, reading the article, I thought, well, a bit too late, right? They already finished their meal. But you know, the couple, they answered, no, it wasn't good. It was actually so much better than good. It was actually the best meal we've ever had. And I thought, 5, right? They will tell 5 other people about their good experience. But what the waiter did was so unexpected. You know, he took a deep breath, he smiled, and then he said it. He said, I am so happy that you are happy. I am so happy I will treat you your meal. You do not have to pay. Bam, right? A story is born. Not 5 anymore. The couple will tell more than 5 people. Even a journalist got hold of the story. He wrote an article, and here I am telling you about it. And I can promise you, I've told this story so many times. I thought it was so cool. I didn't tell it 5 times. I told it like 45 times. It became one of those stories that I told so often that my children started to think that I was embarrassing. And when I told it like the 52nd time, my son, who was 7 at the time, he looked at me and he said, "Well, Mom, you should do that at Scandinavian Airlines." And I looked at him and I said, "Of course I will. Someday." You're so imaginative. But he wouldn't give in. He kept talking about it, and I had so many explanations why it wouldn't work in my line of business. I had so many reasons, one better than the other. I mean, us not running a restaurant, just mentioning one. We were in a restaurant. But somewhere, all those explanations didn't feel okay. So I decided to Kamoja, the New York thing, and make it my own. Even though I had had so many explanations why it wouldn't work in my line of business, I realized that they were more excuses. Excuses, and I mean, where's the courage in that? So one early morning, I called my department, 7:30 Thursday morning. I called the department and I asked, "Do we have any email from a satisfied customer?" And my colleague said, "Yes. You want me to read the email to you?" And I said, "No, just give me the customer's name and the phone number and I'll give her a call." And I did. And I think I woke her up, actually. I could hear she was sleeping. But I introduced myself. I said, "I'm Lisa Ekström. I'm calling from Scandinavian Airlines, and I heard that you had a good experience with us. Can you please tell me your story?" And she did. With great enthusiasm, she told me the story. She had been traveling from Manchester to Stockholm with her 2-year-old son. And when you're 2 years old, you don't want to sit still in the stroller. You want to run around. And she had had so much luggage to check in. And she was so pleased with the help she received from the staff members at the airport. And when she finished her story, I took a deep breath. And I had a big smile on my face, and then I said it. I said, "We are so happy that you are happy. We are so happy we want to treat you your trip you do not have to pay." And the line went dead. Completely dead. After like 10, 15 seconds, I had to say, "Hello, are you still there?" And she said, "Yeah, I'm still here. Can I call you back?" That was not really what I expected. I had kind of expected my life indicator to hit the roof. But I was there feeling that my experiment was falling flat. But of course I said, "You can call me back." I gave her my phone number and I felt quite disappointed. And it took about 30, 40 seconds and then she called me back. And she said, "I thought it was a joke." She said, "Are you kidding me?" And by that point, I was just this close on saying, "Yep, just kidding." But of course, I didn't. I said, "No, I am not kidding." So, when will you take somebody else's life hack and make it more than storytelling? When will you take something that somebody else is using and making it yours? Because it's not the copying that's the difficult part. It's not the copying. It's the turning it around and adjusting and adapting it to suiting your business. When will you Kamoja for you and your business? It takes courage to put yourself out there and try something you haven't done before. You need to create a company culture where you are brave enough to stick out your neck and try something you haven't done before. You need to create a company culture where you're brave enough to fail. And you need to surround yourself with people who support and roots for you. And most importantly, you need to be that person yourself. So remember, always remember, difficult is fun. Thank you.